Sincere apologies, everyone. Oh, no, I own it. I own it. Cheers. Okay. Mute.
Okay, good evening. Sorry about the delay. Today is July 8th, time in 2025. Time is approximately 6:10. Meeting of the Board of Health now called to order. My name is Glenn Frank, Chairman of the Board of Health. And we are operating remotely. So it's an open meeting in the Northborough Board of Health. It's conducted in person and remotely, consistent with Chapter 2 of the Acts of 2025 relative to extending certain COVID-19 measures adopted during the state of emergency. Public is encouraged to follow along using the posted agenda unless the chair notes otherwise. Members of the public who wish to view the live stream or the recording of this meeting may do so by going to Northborough Remote Meetings on YouTube via the link listed on the agenda. Ensuring public access does not ensure public participation unless such participation is required by law. This meeting will not feature public comment. And we have Lisa Johnson, are you here? And Delete?
I am here.
Very good. And I'm here. With that, I call the meeting's called to order. And we're going to skip around a little bit on the meeting agenda. Skipping over local upgrade approval, and go to a livestock discussion brought to our attention regarding Thaddeus Mason Road. So Chris, maybe give us a little background.
Yeah, so I had received a complaint about the property at 30 Thaddeus Mason in regards to a chicken coop. I have pictures up there for you guys to take a look at. I did a ballpark of where the chicken coop's located on the property. I measured it at 12 by 25 feet, making it about 300 square feet. It's on the property. It sits right where the tree line begins, kind of in the back of the property where the yard ends and the trees begin. I measured it at this structure at being at least 15 feet from a string someone placed. That was the estimated property line. There was also an orange stake a little further from the closest quarter of the coop, which looked like it was from a previous surveyor, which would have been even closer to 20 feet. That said, the chickens looked healthy. The coop was in good condition. There was 12 birds in total. I had a conversation with the homeowner. She was totally happy to show me around, show me the birds, and talk to me about best practices. So typically with best practices, we're looking to make sure the birds are well fed. The fed's being kept in a locked container, well, not locked, but airtight sealed container. We want to make sure the waste is being disposed of, which it's being composted in the northeast corner of that yard, kind of where it's that triangular shape on the blue of the lot line, out in the woods there. So overall, I was satisfied with the condition of the birds in the coop. That's kind of, I didn't have any public health concerns in regards to this.
Okay, now the complainants, the house, I'm looking at the lower right hand picture.
Mhm.
We've got a house.
Yeah, the one
That's
in the
outside,
bottom
yeah,
corner.
that's the 30th Thaddeus Mason Road.
That's the that is the abutter. 30 is the
Okay.
property in question.
Okay.
That's fine.
Oh, it's this one on the right, or on the left?
Facing the house is on left view, right? Not the right.
The one we're looking at in the middle of the right, this is where the coop is. The one on the left was the address of the complaint.
Okay.
Oh, this is the northeast.
Barely visible. Now, the coop, does it go parallel to the the property line, or does it?
Rather perpendicular, the short side is closest to the property line. And then the long part of it kind of goes, it's kind of hard to see a rectangle there, I just.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Rectangle to kind of give you a ball.
Oh, yeah, yep,
Getting 16 feet, so.
alright. We don't have any livestock, regulations in place at the time. It's come up in the past. We've never really had a problem. We've had problem with donkeys and horses, but never really other than a straight chicken that's got it, but really we've never had.
If I can, as a chair, I should also mention there's no roosters. I know that sometimes it's contentious, but no
Right.
roosters on my visit.
We don't have any bylaws on roosters either,
Right.
we really gotta, think about that. So if the complainants are here,
Yes.
Yeah.
okay, be more than happy to give you the floor. Read your letter to the board, we all have, and I understand what you're saying. Question really is, does this particular coop or chickens the question really is, chicken coops in general pose a threat to the public health? Okay, and then the other question we have is this particular chicken coop, above and beyond that? Because again, we don't have the authority to just go in and make not a random ruling, but a specific chicken coop ruling,
We understand that.
Okay,
We understand that there's guidelines, but there's no restrictions at this point. So
correct.
one of the reasons that we're here tonight is to ask if there can be some restrictions.
Like a non-grandfathered bylaw created.
Well, if we did create one, we'd have to determine whether it'd be grandfathered or not. And certainly, I think we should agree, I would agree, the board agrees with me, to at least bring it up at the next meeting. We'll have some proposed protocol, not protocol, what?
Regulations, so
Regulations from other towns and
Yeah.
and from the Massachusetts guidelines. We can take a look at those to see, because
There's sometimes to have certain regulations, whether it be distance from property lines or even distance from other buildings like the house, our house would be. There's even about noise and there's about smell. I think Framingham has, if you're standing on the property line and there's an odor, that could be a violation.
right.
So, and we understand it, there's nothing at this point, but we do have a strong concern. We both have health issues. It's a large neighborhood with large houses. This is the first, it's right on our line of the property, or close to. It's a large property that goes further back. There's nothing back there. You can see it from our house. The deck is really close by too. And it's even gonna be worse once the leaves fall, winter, and spring.
If we're looking at, I at this point, have been advised, not even for my death. I'm the one who wrote the letter that has 2 cardiac issues as well as other issues. Not that I'd love to share that with everybody and never have before. But we don't feel that we should be penalized. We've lived there, we built that up. We lived there for 33 years. Where I'm always concerned about children. I've been on the youth commission board for 33 years. And there's so many children in the neighborhood. And if you saw in the memo, CDC has said there's quite a few diseases that you can get, even if you don't go in and handle the chickens. And so, and also my neighbors are concerned. A few, I think, wrote notes. One neighbor is Debbie Lugo, and another neighbor is Mike McCann, Sue McCann, Rose Riley, and Zabe Riley. And
Go.
so it's gonna hold me.
I don't like it.
Yes.
I'm really nervous speaking up, so please
You're
excuse.
not public, it's just us.
No, then it's, and it's like could be a million people. So please excuse my nervousness. The coop is 6 feet high. So that is, we've seen them go in, and I'm not concerned about us. They go in barefoot, they have children, and that's. I don't know how those children have got sick, but this from where they. See where you go. They had chicken coop, smaller chicken coop in another area of Northborough. It was never this big or this high. So I think this is so they can go in and out, and the green thing is the coop. The other thing is maybe like
The
the
red.
pond or something.
Yeah,
Yes.
And so with that green thing and the white stuff, white little buildings. Which you can
So that's the food stuff.
the food stuff is right on. So not only does it ruin our property, and I'm pretty sure it will, especially once the smell comes from composting. Flies and everything else, it's a big health concern for both of us and I believe the other people in the neighborhood.
okay. So that it's about 30 feet off of the property line,
It was at least 15.
you know?
But
Is
not
that
the
just-
green thing, right, Craig?
It
Not
was I measured from the green.
from the green thing.
Yeah.
How about the white thing? That's right on the line.
She's referring to this plastic bins closer to the property.
The things that was the food, yeah.
Yeah.
And those could be.
Those could, and
Yeah.
I don't think the plastic bins,
They let me look at the plastic bins. It was the feed, tools for the garden, just miscellaneous garden.
so that doesn't really create
No,
a health issue.
no. But composting the chicken dropping will.
And composting is down very,
Northeast corner of the yard
Yeah.
in the woods.
Well, germs fly. Flies fly.
wow.
We're just concerned that.
Yeah, no, I'm good.
It
I
attracts
get it.
vermin, it attracts predator animals, it attracts flies, the smell that comes with it, and. For all intents and purposes, it's right by our house, so we're gonna go outside of that, in the backyard, we're gonna smell it, we're gonna see it.
Yeah, and now there's blinking lights on it at night, white blinking lights. One of my friends read that it's for egg production and or to make predators hunger. In our neighborhood, we have coyotes, and we also have hawks.
Yeah, hawks and.
Hawks,
Most
bears.
of the time,
Yeah.
yeah.
It's hard for us.
Yeah, exactly, and that's.
So I'll tell you, they're not gonna go for you.
All neighborhoods.
Yeah.
Here you go.
The backyard too.
Yeah. Same here.
So, in regards to the town itself. I do believe there should be bylaws so that farm animals. Can't be in like a neighborhood like this. This is the one property in the neighborhood that has an acre. Everybody else has 4 acres. And everybody in this neighborhood, they really watch out for their properties, they try to make everything look nice, they really keep it up, and this is quite upsetting to quite a few people,
Yeah,
us the most, obviously.
It's a health issue, not a.
It's a health issue.
So we gotta focus on the health piece.
Of course.
Did you guys get that? It said the CDC, I'd actually called my doctor as well. I was like, what are the real facts? Cause you go on Google and it's like all like fly
Right.
fake stuff. And she said, go to the CDC for backyard farm animals.
Yeah.
poultry, and read that, and that's the truth. And it says that there's I don't know if anybody read it, but there is, people can die from this stuff, from chickens and salmonella and in the air, and little children are at risk. And older people are at risk. And like even like if some, I've seen that free eggs like on the side of someone's home, like once in a while you see that. And they're like, don't ever touch them, Cause you don't know where they came from, you know where they came from, but they could also be contaminated as well. But if you Google it, everything's like a great time, you know, just have your own little farm in the backyard.
Well, I think we should look at this issue and consider some proposals.
Thank you. If they even said that like, other fowls that are around, excuse me, we have like a whole brood of, turkeys. Wild turkeys, if they get, bird flu, they can give it to the chickens, thus then bird flu, I don't know how the right term is, germs fly around. So that's probably the
Yeah,
wrong
but-
terms.
Well,
I'm sorry.
On the other hand, you have the turkeys running around the yard too.
Yeah, well, those, they don't concern us quite as much because they leave.
They're temporary, yeah.
Yeah.
So, Massachusetts Association of Health Boards has sample animal keeping regulations. I will, send it to the board for
Good.
discussion of, at next meeting, basically their draft regulations with things that the Board of Health can fill in. For example, are roosters allowed? How many chickens are allowed? If you want to change the setback. What does the application look like? All of that kind of
Yeah,
is the discretion of the Board of Health. I will say, Chris and I have done loads of research of local communities. There are some that don't have any, like Southborough. There are some like, I think Westborough, you can have up to 20, so it really,
it's all over.
it varies. I did reach out, a lot, I learned a lot about chickens. The poultry program at the state, there is no best practice in the sense of like how many chickens. They typically recommend, correct me if I'm
Typically
wrong,
4 to 6, they are a flock animal.
4 to 6 square feet.
Mhm.
Oh,
Oh, per bird, but yeah, minimum number of chickens, you wanna have at least a few of them,
Yeah,
because that's just how they are,
and then 4 square feet per.
per bird.
So I will send these regulations and then we can talk about them. Regulations we would talk about, and then when we finally have our, final draft, we would need to have open or public comment. And then it would be in the newspaper and different sources, so it's publicized, and then you would make the vote after that.
So right now they don't need permits, they can just put it on their thing, but once you get some regulation, they would need a permit, basically.
They would need a probably yearly permit, depending on what you decided, and then anyone who, say would have more chickens than you allowed could apply for a variance. If that was something you were interested.
if we put in a, I'm sorry, if we put in a regulation that said you can only have 6 chickens.
Mhm.
Right? Would they have to cut down the chickens?
That would be up to you if you would,
Or would it be grandfathered?
that's one of the sections that you would
Okay.
decide, there are quite a few chickens in town, including a rooster that I know of. So
Yeah,
you would
there
need
wouldn't
to-
be no chickens allowed in.
Yeah,
there.
that's unfortunate, but.
It doesn't.
So it's not up to the health department, but what about the zoning board? I mean, this is a residential area, it's not fucking farmland,
Yeah,
it's no
I
farms,
understand.
half acres. My concern, beyond health is they're bringing in predators. Coyotes, foxes, weasels, raccoons, they're coming in and they disperse throughout the neighborhood, especially if they know there's a place where they can get some food. They're gonna continue to go there and they bring a host of other diseases. So that's my greater concern from a health perspective. But just from a zoning perspective, these houses were never intended to be farm tools. No sheep, no cow, no horses, maybe a rabbit, but that's about it. So that's my greater
Yeah.
concern. Well, I know zoning's not your deal, but from a health perspective, that's my biggest concern.
And we also are like a very huge draw for people with little animals and children. They come to our neighborhood because we have sidewalks and it's a nice safe place to walk. If you go through our neighborhood, you will see constantly people walking with little dogs, big dogs, babies in carriages. So that's something to consider as well. And it always has been. They'll go from their neighborhood, drive over and walk our neighborhood. Because it's nice and clean and safe.
And we're glad to have them.
Yes, we are glad to have them. I love children and I love the sound of the children and them playing and stuff. And I have 2 little poodles, 2 little tiny dogs. And that's also, a lot of other people do too.
What
I think that
happens-
we'll have to look at the evidence to see what actually happens in yards with chickens and how many predators actually get into these cages. If this run and this coop is secure, it's not gonna get in. So doesn't mean that your concerns aren't
I
valid.
may not get
We
into the
hear-
chickens, but it's in
But
and
we
around the
need to look at the
table, looking
evidence.
for the chickens, they
and
smell,
see.
they're preying.
Diseases can be spread by flies, you know, and other, like they even, what we read in the CBC was that. Sorry, I was gonna ask Debbie, could you talk a little bit about the Westfield councilman?
Yeah, well, the councilman, that was just 2 weeks ago. They decided that Westfield, you had under 5 acres of lawn, of property, no chickens. Because it was getting out of hand and people were putting chickens everywhere. And it's, from what I hear, I've been calling towns around the area as well, that it's this new trendy thing to do. And it started around COVID.
Yeah.
And it's just been
Yeah.
continuing.
It's the urban farm,
Right.
we've gone through this. There's nothing new to us.
Right.
What do we do as far as if we're starting to think it's a nuisance? So because they make noise in the morning, they make noise in the afternoon, they make noise in the evening. Yeah, or what if there's like a sudden more insects or flies flying around? What do we have for?
Well, I just wanna say the noise is really not a whole lot different than dogs.
There's nothing that I've read about the noise that would be.
It's not continuous. I don't, if I had a dog barking continuous like
Right.
a chicken, I'd be calling the. Yeah.
Well, good thing you don't live in my neighborhood. But I hear you, I'm
If
not
you're-
trying to dismiss what you're saying.
If your concerns were heightened, public health, we do the nuisances, there's a nuisance complaint on our website, we would either have Chris or our animal inspector visit.
And this has nothing to do with chickens or whatever, but I feel like it's devaluating the whole neighborhood too.
Yeah,
You know, it's,
especially our house.
yeah.
Well, that's a zoning maybe.
Yeah.
You could
That's
have a zoning commission or zoning.
We're just, we're not passing the buck.
No, I understand. It's hard to find where we
There
go.
would be so many
Cause health
acres
is,
are happy
you know.
if we can put a freaking chicken coop or any livestock on someone's property, cause it will get out of hand.
So zoning,
I don't know if it's,
So Mark actually put a zoning complaint into Bob Federico, our zoning officer, and he said it's all set, the measurement is fine, and there are no regulations, so he did check it out and he said it's fine.
I mean, their lot is an acre. So that covers, you know,
And-
unfortunately, it's in a neighborhood with 1/4 acre lots.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
get it,
right.
but you know, if there's a zoning that says, oh, can't have more than 5 chickens in, you know, under an acre. And the guy's got an acre.
Now, did Bob did go back to us, he didn't do the measurement himself.
No,
no,
we
we went
went by
Chris, did you do the measurement? You did. Okay.
So I think at this point, we can't really, you know. It's nothing new.
But we like on the
Understand.
record that we have a concern
Yeah.
with this for health reasons and for.
Yeah, we get it.
We'd like to have it there.
But we will look at it and pick it up again.
So what's the timeframe on that?
Next month, we'll look at some proposed orders and discuss it then.
Thank you.
I'm not gonna give a time frame other than what I've said.
Thank you.
Look at it.
Yep, our next meeting is August 12th, and then again, nothing would be decided at that meeting because it needs to go through that, proper procedure.
I'm sorry, could you say that again? So the meeting is August 12th and.
August 12th, unless we change it, we usually determine that at the end of the meeting, but August 12th.
And then at the August 12th meeting, you will discuss,
Options to the regulations.
the options.
Exactly,
Okay.
because there is like legal regulations that we have a draft of, but there's a lot of blanks that the Board of Health would need to make those decisions.
Okay,
So I will make sure those are attached to the next agenda as well, so the public can see.
And look at some other towns similar size.
Yeah.
What kind of regulations they have for livestock as well, to see how they've implemented it. And then it has to go through the process of one, we have to draft it up, then it's gotta go through town council. Public meeting.
it has to be approved
Yeah.
at town meeting?
Not time,
Public hearing, yes, yeah.
Oh, no.
Some people will be.
Public comment.
because public.
Public comments, you get one like in the newspaper, people will come in, they'll verbalize it.
I see.
Other people who have chickens will come and say it's not a problem.
Yeah,
And then we'll have a group,
oh, yeah,
similar to yours.
Yeah.
Then we have to figure out, where it is, right? I mean, so that's that creates a whole different, but that's the process it has to go through before it can be passed and become formal
Okay,
regulation.
so the next meeting is discuss options. Will you have the options written up before the meeting?
No, that would be, we, due to the quorum, we wouldn't be able to discuss via email.
You
It would
will
need to be-
discuss, oh,
It would need to
discuss
be
it.
during a public.
Okay, so, do you think it's advisable for us to be there at that meeting?
You're certainly invited, but we're just going to kind of roundtable it and go over.
Okay,
You
all
know,
right.
Look at all the options that we have from different legal, other towns, see what's works best.
Looking at the evidence.
Then we get the, oh, yeah, right.
And please keep in mind that the opinion about property values going up or down with something like this, it's got nothing to do with,
I understand,
just so everybody knows. I understand it, we all understand it, we're all homeowners, but we can't make decisions on
We'll get back in.
property values.
Of course.
No, I understand that, but it's hard when you have your property for so long and it's something
No, I
comes in the
understand.
store and it just changes the.
Yes, it does.
Would that be zoning or building?
What?
Just to go talk to about devaluation of property value?
I don't think there is a board for that.
No.
So I would say it'd be the
Bill.
assessor. It'd be the assessor and
Oh, yeah, that's a good, yeah, okay.
you'll see if your tax, well, if the tax rate hasn't gone up, the assessments have gone up. The tax rate stays the same, assessment goes up, you pay more in taxes, right?
Yeah.
So you can look at your last year's worth of
Yeah,
taxes,
yeah.
2 years, every quarter, you can see what your assessed value is. Okay, by the town, I mean, that's not what you're gonna sell it and get for it. But you can look at the assessed value and see if it's gone up or down, what, you know, you can map it out and see where it's going. If you keep seeing it's going up and up and up.
Yeah.
It's not affecting your assessed value based on the town.
Assessment, not selling that.
I have a quick question for you, Chris.
Sure.
Is now, I've never seen too many chicken coops, but this chicken, I don't know what the whole thing.
Mhm.
To me, it's like really big. I'm just like, they stand in it, they sit in it, it goes all, then it's attached. It's almost as long as, I don't think you've seen it recently, but it's grown. So it's almost as long as the house, I would say almost.
Yeah.
And long and wide. Is that the normal chicken size, chicken
I've seen
coop
them of all
size?
sizes,
in
oh yeah.
Northwood?
In North,
In a small lot, on a small lot
Oh,
like
yeah.
that,
I've seen them of all sizes.
where would that be? Where would those?
I can't
places-
name it, and goes off the top of
Yeah,
my
I'm just
head.
curious,
Yeah.
I mean, I could see it in West Street, I could see it where there's bigger lots and more farmy, but I just never seen anything that big in a residential area, that's all. I'm just curious if you.
I mean, I just want to say again, I don't think it's fair that I would have to move because we plan on staying through our retirement at this moment. Our son bought a house close to us for that reason. And I don't think it's fair that we have to move due to health reasons because of this.
If we move the chicken coops, let's say pass something that said it's got to be 30 feet from the line, you know? It's not gonna really do much for you,
It's still in here.
you know?
And yeah, that's right.
So really, the setback, I'm not saying that, but I'm just saying. If we had a setback that was larger, you know, greater, still gonna be there.
Yeah, the smell might
This
be a
is
little
the-
bit less.
Yeah.
This is
That's
the,
right.
might be a little bit.
The smell on the side.
Maybe the smell on the side.
Short of banning chicken coops from residential.
Yeah.
I don't think.
Which I don't think is gonna happen.
I don't think that's gonna happen.
Yeah.
Unless the zoning commission, the board says, you know,
Question.
Sure.
When were you there last?
It was a couple of weeks ago, I couldn't give you the exact, actually, I could, I can look at the day. I took
Oh,
the
no,
picture.
no, I mean, it's been more. Did you smell anything?
It was 90 degrees and I didn't smell anything.
It's brand new,
It's
though.
brand new,
Yeah.
just come in, 2
With
weeks
that
back.
composting.
But they're-
I mean, what's gonna happen after like a year?
Well, it's dissolved,
If they
doesn't it?
keep up with it and yeah,
June
it does
24th.
dissolve. Like more.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear that.
The rain will dissolve it and it is like Nicole. I was curious, you know, if there was an odor at the time that you visited, that's all.
Because that's,
I just wanted to know what.
that's one of the tests, yeah,
during the visit.
does it smell?
But that was, and again, the repeat what John said, it was like within the first 2 weeks when it actually won, so. It was not enough.
Right, not enough time for it.
And we, and you know, we did our due diligence, before they moved in and sold their last house, we asked them not to bring the chickens. We shared health issues, we asked them, you know, he told us they're gonna have probably 16, we asked them to not have as many. No, nothing, you know, we did reach out,
Well, they do when we have 12.
oh, now they have 12, yeah, but
12?
they,
16.
right, but that.
May not-
Could be that's their goal.
Okay,
That's
Well,
their freaking goal.
There's no.
I get it, put some edit, think we're gonna move on.
No, what's the rule for example?
Appreciate everyone's time.
Yeah. Thank you for hearing us,
Sure.
and thank you.
Yeah, thank you guys.
Thank you.
You're welcome to stay.
Oh, thank you.
We're gonna talk about septic
We have
systems.
votes in there.
That's not gonna work, you know. We've got-
Have a lovely day.
Thank you. Thank you. I see.
You too.
Thank you, Lisa.
Thanks.
You can leave the chair. They're fine, thank you.
At the class for the gym.
Good night.
Good night.
And 44 Sunset Drive.
All right, so we have a request for a local upgrade approval. You see the language in the top right corner. This lovely picture here.
Reduction of required septic tank setback distance from a slab foundation to 5 feet.
That is correct. So this is it's a very interesting lawn. Interesting in the sense that's very close to a pond in the backyard. So the engineer is requesting moving the septic tank to a setback of 5 feet from the slab of the foundation of the home. So it can stay outside of that buffer from the wetlands. My opinion is slam dunk, just because we'd much rather see the septic tank closer to the house than closer to the wetland. If moving it to 5 feet is what keeps it within that buffer, that definitely makes me happy. Title 5 says, you know, of the local upgrade approvals, the first one to consider is moving setbacks closer to your own property.
Yeah. Well, what is the requirement for moving it to 5 feet?
From 10 feet to
10
5
feet.
feet.
Do they have to put any protective barriers around that?
Yeah, they will be putting in impermeable barrier. That is the kind of hard to see, but like right where the leach field ends, there will be an impervious barrier to kind of catch the breakout.
We love those impervious.
Oh, yes, we do.
It's the answer to everything,
Like, that's gonna stop.
but it's there.
Is that a downgrade towards the house?
It's a repair, so it would be level. It was treated like a three bedroom as a repair. It was an old cesspool. It was, I believe, you know, someone will
But
do it.
the yard is flat.
Oh, yes, it
So it's
kind
not
of
like-
dips, and that's where it's trickier. You can kind of see above the buffer. It gets quite steep, so it's within the wetland buffer anyway, so we don't want to go there anyway, but
Right,
it's not ideal.
I'm just talking about runoff, right? If they-
Yes, so that will be a good, pretty flat surface for them to put their leach field. That won't be so bad, but
Doesn't look like they could put it anywhere else.
yeah, it would be pretty tough. Their only other option would be putting in a front yard, which could mean a mounted system, that sort of thing. It's not as ideal. Plus it would be harder to meet the setbacks to the road. So I think a 5 feet separation from the foundation is appropriate in this situation.
I have no questions,
I have no, but
concerns.
So the small area where they put a 1,500 gallon tank,
It's a compact system.
okay? Yes, there's the, and I presume there's neighbors on both sides.
Yes.
Yeah,
Well, how do you really need?
as long as it's far enough away from the wetlands, close to the house. I think they've got an existing hardship, was the only place for it.
I should add the old cesspool is right where they're gonna put the new system too. So it's been used already, so to speak.
And conservation must have said, okay,
Yeah, conservation gave the okay, once we had to figure out the bedroom count was staying the same, because if they're trying to increase the bedroom count, then they have, there's no upgrade approvals. But determined it's been a 3 bedroom, so. It's
Okay.
okay. So
All right, I'm gonna move to allow the reduction of the required septic tank setback distance from slab foundation, that being their house. From 10 feet as required to 5 feet as permitted. Per 310 CMR 15.405. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, unanimous. Good. Now we're gonna go 5 Tomahawk Drive.
Excellent. All right, so this one's a little more involved. But so we got a lot here with pretty restricted soil. Again, we had a system that was already in front yard, but it's in failure, so we're looking to have it repaired. So what they're proposing is, well, they're requesting a local upgrade approval to provide a reduction in the vertical separation from the groundwater. So they're looking, typical required separations 4 feet. This property had very high groundwater, is very close to the surface, so they're looking to request local upgrade approval for 3 feet to the groundwater. And kind of the compromise they're making with us here, so to speak. There's 2 reasons they don't want to put it in the backyard. Most importantly, you can see that there's a buffer, it's the dotted line going through the middle of the property. That would put them within the wetland buffer, that's not ideal. So on top of that, they're proposing the use of the Elgin geotextile sand filter, which is a Mass Department of Environmental Protection approved alternate technology. This technology allows for a separation of only 2 feet per DEP. So that was kind of like, all right, they still have to request the local upgrade approval. But that being said, they're still giving you more than the minimum of 2 with this system. But it's not quite 4, which is obviously the ideal. So they're requesting it based on, that, wanting to avoid the wetland buffer as well as avoiding a mounted system in their front yard, aesthetic wise, which is ultimately the least important in terms of well. But
Still, you don't want the big mound with the pipe sticking out of it.
right, there is, chance for breakout with that, but I think it's appropriate given they're using an alternate technology that is approved for 2 feet. And they're getting you can add a little extra, didn't have to go quite down to that line 2 feet, but it was very high groundwater. I mean, a couple feet in.
Does it meet the setbacks from the road and all that stuff?
No, big setbacks from the road.
Sidewalk.
Yes.
So really, they're just looking for from 4 feet to 3 feet.
Mhm.
And they're putting the system that only requires
2 feet.
2 feet.
That's, I guess.
Per the, approval documents from Mass DEP, you still have to request the local upgrade approval.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because 4 is the standard.
Want to take this one?
I really think you're doing a great job.
All right. All right, I move to provide a variance to provide reduction in the vertical separation from the bottom of the soil absorption system. That's why I didn't want to do it.
Right.
To the high groundwater elevation, 4 feet required for new construction to 3 feet as proposed. Well, this is a new construction.
No, this isn't. That's not even.
Septic system problem.
That might have been the misnomer there, but I confirmed it is a repair. There's no increase in flow. It's a 3
4
bedroom.
feet are required for repair even.
No.
Okay, to 3 feet as proposed. All those in favor? Wonderful. Tobacco compliance checks.
I am very happy to announce that everyone passed all 58
fines.
permits,
No
no
fines.
fines.
You know, we need the dues.
MHOA, the inspector went out with a 19-year-old female, they did all of the inspections in one day and they all passed.
That's fantastic.
Very excited.
Very good. Get a gold star.
You should get something.
We should post all the goals. So very excited that, our permit holders are fighting
You're on top
right.
of it.
Exactly.
Now, do they get notice that we were out there and they passed and Northborough's doing great, or is it
We
just,
can definitely do
they
like,
just keep quiet?
we can definitely do
honestly.
a newsletter posted, some sort.
But did they know before you were,
No.
they know that you were out there coming
Not even though, unless Glenn went first.
Warn them ahead of time.
So
Right,
did.
send that.
No, well, this.
Yeah, I think it should be on the board.
Yeah.
Website, I think it's awesome, I mean, that's a good thing.
Yeah,
Yeah,
a great thing. And MHOA is funded to partner with us for another year, FY 26, through a state grant. So if you guys are interested, I have the MOU, which is the exact same one you guys signed last week or last month. So if you are interested, you can take a motion and sign the last page. These inspections would be done next spring, so we kind of are at on an annual basis.
what is, yes, what do you want me to,
The last page is a signature, but if you wanted to go over.
motion to accept?
I would appoint MHOA as one of our tobacco.
Okay, okay. I move that we appoint MHOA as one of our. Is that what it is?
Yes, tobacco inspection.
Tobacco inspection. Outlets
2026.
2026.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. And I will sign this.
I see it's there.
Yeah.
Good.
Well, that's pretty good.
That is very good, because we haven't had them for a while, they're still sitting on top of it, which is. Kind of nice.
There is some education happening though through the department, and reminding them, signing, right, so they know, yeah.
That means they're paying attention, right?
Yeah.
I mean, they really say, who cares?
Good. I hope I signed in the right place.
Perfect.
Good, medical director,
Right, me again, last but not least, so we have a municipal public agency controlled substance registration, and that is for epinephrine for our flu clinics as well as Narcan that we distribute through our Narcan training. So our recent or previous medical director had moved out of the county, so he suggested we appoint a new one. So we need to appoint a medical physician to be our medical director in order to renew this registration.
okay,
So we can either pick someone on the board, or if there's another suggestion,
So, and I can do it. What do you have to tell me what you need from me?
I certainly will. It's mostly your medical license, and there might be one other thing that you researched.
now who was doing it before?
Dr. Tennessee, I think. Oh, someone here. Oh, that's Goldstein. He's the commissioner of DPH.
Oh, okay.
I think it
Joe
was,
Tennyson,
yes.
Joe Tennyson,
Yes.
he's in the ER.
Yeah,
Well,
you want to take over?
there's
All
nothing.
right, Alexa Jane is
Paperwork.
volunteered.
I would make a motion, and I did confirm with Andy Dowd, our town clerk, who essentially
Clerk of the year.
he did, and it's
Did he really?
his last day.
They
That's it?
split.
Yes. So
Where you going?
retiring.
He split. He did.
So I did confirm there's no conflict of interest. They're both volunteer positions.
Okay.
So I did double check that in advance.
And I move that we volunteer Dr. Jane as our medical director. To the medical director
Drug.
position.
I second.
Drug control, right?
All those in favor?
Aye.
And he has to. That's it. You're in.
Perfect. I will reach out to you to get the documentation, and this expires September 6th, so we have a few weeks.
And that's a 1099 man, so.
Or, next meeting. It's a freebie.
Let's see, okay, approval of the meeting minutes, we can actually do those.
The only thing I have on this, and again,
Did I spell your name wrong again?
no, he's fine. No, in the variance request for Northcote, is it not, because I thought they said no one under the age of 16 is allowed to use the pool by themselves or something like that. Wasn't that part of the?
I don't think they changed anything.
So they arranged anything, but I thought that was, no, but I don't remember what we said in the first, last year.
Okay,
I thought they said no one under the age of 16 could be swimming by themselves without a lifeguard after a certain time.
I don't remember the verbiage, but we can definitely go back and.
If it's there on last year's one, then I'll.
Okay.
If it's not, then that's.
Sounds good.
That was one I vehemently against. When I had an accident, snuck it in
What the.
while I was lying in a hospital bed.
Right?
North Court pool,
Yes,
why are you against that?
as a lifeguard, I believe, previous lifeguard, that there should be lifeguards on duty. That's my opinion. There's a lot of emergencies happen. They're trained in various medical techniques, life-saving procedures.
But they have to see, every family member has to have somebody with CPR certified,
They've done very well.
right?
This was when they first brought it up.
Right, when they first get that, reading that. you
I'm
go
a
back
bit
and
more
forth.
comfortable.
Yeah.
Oh, it's safer.
My shorts don't fit me anymore. So it is what it is.
The best it's been, I think, and you've been saying.
No, I think they've done very well. Oh, yeah. I move to approve the meeting minutes from Tuesday, May 13th.
Second.
With the caveat that we'll check on the.
Yeah.
16. No swimming if you're under 16 without a lifeguard. Is that what it is? Under 16?
I thought that's what he had said, but he had given me last time. So he just mentioned it in passing, and I'm wondering if we had added to the previous one, that's to say, I just want to make sure. I remember these crazy facts sometimes.
Yeah.
And I just want to make sure that we got all bases covered.
Okay.
If that's okay.
So we can check on that before. Caveat, we'll look at that.
Lady, but
All right, as recorded. All those in favor?
I,
Aye. Unanimous. Anything else?
I would just add DBW provided all board members the copy of the 2024 Consumer Confidence Report and certification of our water system. And residents can also there's some copies at Town Hall, the post office, the police department, the library, and the senior center.
And this is what they look like.
Very great.
Very good.
interesting, that's cool.
Excellent. Okay, any other? Nothing,
No other new in front of the world.
nothing new.
Nothing new. I think we covered a lot.
And I'm,
Has the other position been
Oh, yes.
advertised on PD or anything like that? The open
Right.
position?
Oh, yes, it is on our website. I will check in. Angie's on vacation, but it would go through Angie, the chair, as well as the select board interview committee.
okay.
So are we hiring someone?
No.
No, we have no more seats.
It's kind of weird, it goes, this thing, like I said, when I joined, there was like 50 people
Wow,
for that position.
wow.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, that's the thing, it was kind of, Jamie thing, oh yeah, you're one of 15,
Wow.
that much interest in it? Like, okay, didn't think that now we're not hearing much,
Yeah,
it's like
that's-
kind of weird.
Very.
We got our finger on the pulse of Northborough and then the world. That's fine. Sleepy asses.
It's
All
all
right.
right, that much work. These guys. Already,
We do all
I mean,
Yeah.
like, we don't have a heck of a lot to do,
Yeah.
thanks to them.
We don't have to
That's
report
true.
that.
No, it's expanded. The group is expanded.
Yeah, it's
Jamie's that
very
purpose
busy
of-
last, 18 months,
Mm.
so we'll have to be proud of here.
Yeah.
Jamie's left her position.
I know.
Yeah, she. something.
DME.
Yep.
Environmental consultant. Can we still keep in touch?
Yes, when she says we.
Okay.
It's Stephanie Bacon. Used to be the health agent before, I think it was before Jamie or, before Jamie.
I joined when Jamie was there, but she was one of the first.
Oh,
And then who was there after?
What's his name? It is,
Yeah.
Predates me, I don't
Something
remember.
before you.
And Christmas.
Good, I'm gonna move that we adjourn this meeting.
Yes.
August 12th still works for everyone. I know
Yeah.
everyone's busy.
Tentative,
Okay.
yeah, I'll do my best.
Alright, we will
Let you know as soon as possible.
Jess will email you maybe like a week before and you have some review.
I'll
Perfect.
watch for it.
I mean,
Yeah. Do
obviously,
everything I can, though.
if can't do it in person, you could do it remote.
The only reason I
Wait,
wouldn't be here for this would be because I'm on vacation. But, you know, if it's work or whatever, I'll make sure. I'm here.
Okay.
Yeah.
That sounds good, yes, fine with me.
At the moment. Tentative date,
Good.
okay,
Alright, have a good summer,
We
everybody.
moved to adjourn? Did we
I
do
think I
that?
already did, but
Yeah, we
I'm
did good.
gonna move to adjourn this meeting.
Yeah, I agree.
All those in favor?